Hello, would you like to sign a petition to legalize marijuana?
No way.
Do you mind if I ask why?
My main reason is because I have children, and I do not want them exposed to drugs.
That's a legitimate concern. Nobody wants children exposed to drugs. However, if marijuana was legalized and regulated, it would eliminate the black market and children would have less access to it, like alcohol and tobacco.
I never looked at it that way, but marijuana is a gateway drug and leads people to use harder drugs like heroin and cocaine.
There is no scientific evidence to support that theory. Actually, statistics show that only a small percentage of people that have smoked marijuana progressed into harder drugs.
It doesn't matter, marijuana is a dangerous drug and has become increasingly potent.
Not true. Research has proved that marijuana is probably the safest drug on earth and there has never been a documented death attributed to its use. Not even caffeine is that safe. That means there is a greater possibility that you'll survive a plane crash, get bitten by a shark, and then struck by lightning in the same day, before you'll die from the use of marijuana.
I don't believe you.
I challenge you to find a documented death from the consumption of marijuana. Did you know that, if marijuana was legalized, it would create jobs and generate millions in tax revenue that could be used on other programs such as education?
I'm not buying that one. What would stop people from growing their own marijuana?
You're probably right. There will be some people that grow their own marijuana, probably about the same amount of people that brew their own beer. Do you know anyone that brews their own beer?
No.
Me neither. Even if the number of people grew their own marijuana, they would spend their money in the legitimate market, rather than purchasing their marijuana from the black market. This would create an instant stimulus without raising the national debt. So, if a person was spending $100 per week on marijuana in the black market, that would free $5,200 per year to be spent in the legitimate market. Did the math? That's $41,600,000,000 per year, and that calculation is just from the amount of people arrested on a yearly basis.
Wow, I never looked at it that way.
Most people don't. It's certainly better than raising taxes.
But what about the information in the anti-marijuana commercials?
Funny that you mentioned that. Did you know that most of those commercials are funded by the alcohol, tobacco and pharmaceutical industries? Does anyone think there is a conflict of interest when the largest producers of addictive substances on earth are funding anti-marijuana ads?
That's crazy. What about all the statistics surrounding teen use?
You can manipulate statistics in many ways. The fact of the matter is that most of those statistics of teen use and rehabilitation come from court-order plea agreements. The current laws are absurd. There is a law enacted years ago where students lose their school funding for a marijuana conviction. In Florida, a person can lose their license for up to 2 years, even if the conviction was not motor vehicle related. Does anyone think that creates a more productive society when people cannot get a decent education or drive themselves to work?
I don't think so.
It just creates unnecessary strain on families and diminishes law enforcement's ability to investigate real crimes like murder, rape, and robbery. 800,000 people per year are arrested, and most are for simple possession. Do you know how much of your taxpayer money supports this nonsense?
I have no idea.
The war on drugs has cost the taxpayers over $1 trillion and is a complete failure. The enforcement of marijuana policy is deadlier than the drug itself, not to mention there has been no decrease in consumption.
I've learned one thing over the years. There is seldom a winner when it comes to war. It's costly, and the politicians seldom give us the truth.
That's true.
I heard marijuana has become super potent, which makes it dangerous and addictive.
I'll say it again, not one documented death. It's true that the quality and potency of marijuana over the years, but only by a few percentage points. Let me tell you why this is good. The consumer needs less to achieve the same effect, and there are different grades similar to alcohol and tobacco. Not everyone chooses the most potent strain. In fact, the different strains of marijuana have presented an opportunity for physicians to treat a myriad of conditions from chronic pain to insomnia. Marijuana is all natural and is much cheaper than pharmaceuticals with less side effect. Can you imagine how much money could be saved if patients were able to grow their own medicine? Not to mention, marijuana is not addictive and is a much healthier alternative than its pharmaceutical counterpart, which is often an addictive opiate.
Why do you think the government is so stubborn when it comes to even discussing the legalization of marijuana?
Because the government has lied to us for decades and it's impossible to reverse their position without appearing hypocritical. Our government has demonstrated that they can't even keep children safe from toys imported from China. Are you going to trust these people to tell your children the truth about marijuana? It's time for parents to educate themselves and to have open and honest conversations with their children regarding marijuana.
You make a compelling argument, and I think you're right. People have unlimited access to information. We should do our own research.
Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today regarding this important subject.
I don't think we'll achieve a sensible drug policy until people are willing to have these discussions.